For more insight into these ongoing protests, I spoke with Paul Pelletier. He's a political analyst and former federal prosecutor. He's now a law professor at George Washington University.
What's happened in LA is simply a reaction by people to hardworking families of immigrants being arrested by ICE. They're reacting to that, right?
Right.
And so the local police have previously been able to at least keep the protesters away from the ICE agents around federal buildings. But that's what the people are reacting to. You can expect they'll react to the same thing in Boston, Chicago, New York, wherever this takes place, if INS or ICE is going to go in there and take otherwise law-abiding immigrants who work and live in the communities. That's what people are reacting to. You see, when President Trump came on, he said he was going to export and deport the rapists and the murderers, but that's not what's going on here, and that's why people are reacting.
Yeah, it's far different if you raid a Home Depot parking lot where people are waiting to find work. Now, California Governor Gavin Newsom, Democrat, has really emerged as kind of a political foil for Donald Trump. And a federal judge has already denied California's request for a restraining order to block the Trump administration from sending Marines or the Guard to the state. So what do you think that Newsom's next steps could be, and your thoughts on this hearing coming up on Thursday?
Yeah, so I don't think there's much hope for success in the hearing. And the reason why is because a president has the power to deploy troops to protect federal buildings. And that's sort of what he's done here. Didn't need to do it. They didn't ask for it. The police said everything was under control, or relatively under control. They didn't ask for it. What Trump has done is he's done it more as performative theater, right? Performative theater, because at the end of the day, they don't need all these troops on the streets. These people are at bay, and it creates a situation where you have a mob sort of mentality. So I don't think legally that Gavin Newsom has much to stand on, as Trump is trying to, according to him, protect federal buildings and federal agents. Sure. But I think you're right. I think at the end of the day, he's really met his match with Gavin Newsom, and he's really put wind under the sails of Gavin Newsom and sort of the way Gavin Newsom has reacted to this.
Okay, we know that the Marines, active duty Marines, are standing by, and that's far different from National Guard troops. They are in Los Angeles awaiting orders, and that's in addition to another 2,100 troops to join the 2,000 National Guard troops already there. So do you expect we're going to see more U.S. troops trained to fight in battle coming in to Los Angeles? I guess that begs the question, how much is enough or too much?
Well, I think already we've seen that they haven't been caught. So first of all the National Guard troops, they've been federalized. So they're effectively federal troops, right? So it doesn't matter whether they're Marines or National Guards. They've all been federalized, so they all have to listen to the command of the president. So it's already a tempest in a teapot, right? Where there is way too many on the ground. And the problem here is that the National Guard and the Marines are not trained in crowd control. And what you need is people who are trained in crowd control. And these protesters are generally peaceful. Of course, we've had looters and we've had people throwing firebombs, but that's the rarity. It's not what's going on. All the arrests that took place were not people who were committing violence. It was just people who were breaking curfew. So yes, way too many people on there, but as I said, this is really performative by President Trump, and it's not because it's necessary in any way.
You know, I think you make a great point, too, that National Guard troops are not trained to do this kind of thing. They're getting some on-the-ground training before they're being put in the shadow of those federal buildings. So I'm curious how many arrests you expect to see, and the fact that the National Guard are taking part, and if not arresting people, certainly trying to control them and then hand them over to LA authorities. Do you see a big problem there?
Yeah, there is. First of all, the cost is enormous, right? The cost to taxpayers. I mean, you know, to the extent that the government said that they wanted to save money through DOGE and that type of thing, there's literally tens of millions, if not hundreds of millions of dollars being spent in this deployment. And then we have the people being arrested. Remember, all of those people have to be processed through the legal system. That that costs money. And if what happened in D.C., Washington, D.C., the last time Black Lives Matter people were arrested, all of the charges were ultimately dismissed, or virtually all of the charges were dismissed.